Hey guys, Riley here. So today we'll be talking about the STX Surgeon 10500, which most of you should know by now is my current gamer, as you can see kind of from back there. It's the one on the black shaft, in case you don't know. Anyway, I've been using it for about a week now. I've gotten it, made sure I liked it, strung it up, and just really made sure that I was comfortable with making it to my gamer. I really liked it immediately when I started passing with it. I just needed to make sure it was definitely the right choice. I know, like for example, Throne said that you shouldn't make a weapon of choice video or talk about something being your new gamer or something until you're 110% sure that you really do love it, rather than when you first string it. Perhaps it should be farther into usage. But I generally know that I'm going to like a stick within the first couple of minutes of passing with it. And I just felt that it was the right choice. So I decided to make it my gamer and make that video for you guys, since you have been so interested. Anyway, that's not the point today. The point today is that I have an unstrung STX Surgeon 10500 that I got from the Lacrosse Unlimited private sale, or the 25% off sale. And I picked it up a few days ago. As soon as I knew about the sale, I went and ordered it. No regrets at all. I really wanted to get a second one, and this 25% deal presented itself, and it was better than any other discounts that I'm able to get, so I decided to take it. But yeah, so I wanted to do a review with my my gamer, but at the same time I didn't want you guys to be able to read the sidewall and stuff when I go down and like explain the sidewall and the rails and stuff and what I think about them and such. I'm actually going to be trying to read off the card because it lists all the benefits of buying this head, because I don't have anything pulled up. It's just I'm making this video right before I leave for a vacation for a week, and I wanted to just get it done, get packed, and do all that. And I know that you guys would enjoy the review. I'll be doing the head-to-head-to-head with all the heads fully strung, so I can talk about them. Don't try to read the sidewall patterns, and I'll be comfortable posting it if you do so. Like I worded that weird. Provided that you guys don't really have like evil intents, I would be very happy to do the head-to-head-to-head with fully strung heads. So, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, it would be the Stallion U versus the Surgeon 10500, the Stallion U 500, and the Lakota U, and I'd be explaining all of them. I play LSM, so they all kind of appeal to me, but they all have little different things about them that I would want to discuss. I haven't used the Stallion U 500. It's just back there, fully strung, but not being used in any nature. So that's I can't really give you my thoughts on gameplay, but I can talk about just what I think from just holding it and also from stringing. Anyway, this review is about the Surgeon 10500, so I'm very sorry for going off on my little rants, but I'm sure some of you enjoy just listening to me talk about lacrosse-related things, which is what I enjoyed when I watched I still do, when I watched the other guys on YouTube. So the STX Surgeon 10500 currently costs $110 online and in stores, I believe. Like for example, at Lacrosse Unlimited and Sports Stop, it's $110, which are the two places I've gotten mine from. It features ACP technology, which is all climate performance technology. It means that the plastic and the mold is all made in the nature of it's going to be resistant to the heat and the cold. So you know in the summer how your heads get really flexy and they just, I guess they're prone to damaging, like breaking or warping and things of that nature. The ACP technology exists to counteract that. It's supposed to keep its shape regardless of the temperature. I'm not sure exactly of the methods, but I know that that's a thing. Like for example, my friend's CEO today. It's a great head. I mean, most people like the CEO, but it was flexy as anything. He was worried about the performance of it, and it was just because it was so hot out. I mean, it was a very hot day. I'm sunburned. You guys can see that. Anyway, so the ACP technology is something that I really like. They actually, the new ball stop, might I add, is very nice. It's not as overly green. It just has a little touch at the bottom, which actually plays off of my shaft on my weapon of choice, which I really like. But beside the point. It's just a very classy ball stop. The ACP technology is great, and it's definitely a key factor of a reason to buy this head. So if you don't like your head being affected by the weather, like how people wouldn't want their mesh to be affected by the weather, then it's definitely something for you to look at. I'm going to start reading from the card and then I'll go into depth about certain things. So the Surgeon 10500 is designed specifically to maximize ACP, also known as All Climate Performance Technology, which maintains head shape and allows for a lightweight and strong head. As I've stated, it has to do with it performing the best regardless of the temperature in its surrounding environment. The new design is also 10% lighter than the previous model and is now the lightest STX head, and also the lightest NCAA head offered by STX, obviously, because it's also the lightest head. It's a very, very light head. Just from holding it, I can tell. If you were to throw otter mesh in this, it would be crazy, crazy light. I wouldn't do that, personally, because I use 1X, but definitely a good option if you really are looking for something light. Here, let's keep reading. Sorry, guys. So it has the stiff pointed scoop with aggressive smile helps to fine channel for increased accuracy. So the face shape of the head and the way that the scoop is pulled is to make it so that when you already have a channel, it's going to want to just travel only from that point, and it's going to really make sure that the ball wants to travel in that direction. As if you can see, it's sort of curved in this area, so it's going to want to go back towards the middle. Speaking of the scoop, if you take a look at the scoop, this is, I talked about it in my weapon of choice video. If you take a look at the scoop, I don't know if you guys know about the hammer, but the hammer is kind of cut out at one point to reduce the weight. The problem with the hammer works fine. It doesn't create any issues, or at least as far as I remember when I used it for a summer. It didn't create any issues. Oh, I also used it for a spring, but that's beside the point. I used it. I didn't have any problems with scooping or anything of that nature. But I've heard that people have. And with this, if you take a look, it is carved out to reduce weight. It also has a little. Here, let me turn this light. It has a. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. It says Surgeon there. You're able to see it on my weapon of choice video, as it was dirty there, so you'd be able to see around it. But it says Surgeon on the cutout part, or the carved out part. I don't really know how to explain that. But anyway, it's a very aggressive point, and the concern that would bring is that when you're going after a ground ball, if that point hits the ground at an odd angle, it would catch on the ground and cause you to fall over your stick or not be able to keep running. Like some people during ground balls, you might know, like your stick gets caught on the ground while you're going for the ground ball, and it's really inconvenient. It's very, very inconvenient, and it just can make you look like an idiot, and you can't get the ground ball. And the idea of getting down and stuff still applies, but at the same time, with that carved out thing, the carved out area, it could also create a catching issue or put the scoop at a higher level than the ball and cause you to just hit the ball with your stick. That's another thing that I was worried about, but I haven't had any issues with it, although I have only been using it on turf, and actually I've been using it in my backyard as well, and I haven't had any issues with it. For that reason either. So as long as you're fine at ground balls, you shouldn't have to worry about that. Also, I'm a long pole, so that might be a factor. But yeah, it was something that I kind of threw me off at first. But so far, I haven't had any serious issues with it. If you do, be sure to let me know, and I'll inform everyone. I actually asked STX on their Instagram the reasons for doing that with their scoop, and they said it was to reduce the weight. But at the same time, I was worried because it might decrease the ability of the scoop. Like, for example, the Nike Lakota U, which I'll talk about during the head-to-head, has the flattest scoop I've ever used, and it just makes ground balls a breeze. But this has certain benefits that I'll get to in that video that made me want to choose this as my gamer over the Nike Lakota U. That's another point, though. So the offset. Let's talk about the offset of the head while we're at it. I'm trying to... I don't usually explain the offset. It's not something I'm really used to having to do. But if you were to take the head, if you were to take a look, it kind of ends up at the same point, I would say. Maybe a little, actually, because it bends down. Yeah, it ends like half an inch. I don't know. That's probably really inaccurate. Half an inch lower than before. I like the offset personally as a long pull. It's offset. I mean, a lot of people don't even care that. You do care about the offset, but at the same time, you don't really understand how it affects you. So, beside the point, the offset's nice. I like the offset. I also like the offset of the Nike Lakota U. That's pretty good. Yeah, so it ends right around there. So it's a little bit lower. It's a nice offset, I would say. Also, speaking of which, the newer looking sidewall rails are actually a lot classier, in my opinion, than the original Surgeon 10, which I actually have a high school spec one behind me. I might grab that partway through the video if I want to discuss it. I like the sidewall. It's rather stiff. This is one of the ways that I check if I squeeze the sidewall to make sure it's durable, and it should maintain its shape when poke checking and other things, which is something that really appeals to me because with my Nike Lakota U, it started to hourglass a little bit. It's just what happens when you throw poke checks. But yeah. Also, six top string holes, definitely large enough for a double triangle top. It was a breeze. Made stringing it very, very easy. Everything fit very well. Pulled it. Everything pulled correctly. I didn't have any issues. Sidewall holes. So the top string sidewall holes are massive. So I don't know if you remember on the Surgeon 10, but they were small little circles. You could still do everything correctly, but there were like 3 of them up there, and then all the sidewall holes as a result later on were spread out, which was a really big issue because, I mean, it wasn't that big of an issue. I wasn't as good of a stringer when I dealt with the Surgeon 10. So I had a hard time getting any sort of pocket that I liked in it, but I really wanted to use it, but I never did. So I'm a little upset about that. But the top string holes on here are absolutely massive. I actually have on my gamer on the third where I start, I have it wrapped around 3 times just for the most durability possible. It's the awesomest thing. I just started rolling it around. I'm like, this is gonna go forever. I'm the happiest person ever. So that was just something that I've just gotten into really reinforcing my sidewalls and stuff, and that was something that happened as a result. So stringing on the sidewall at the top, you have plenty of room to do everything that you want. And then as a result of these 3 top string holes being so large, the resulting, the rest of the sidewall holes are so evenly placed all the way down. I believe there are 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm just going to count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There are 14. I believe that's one more than the original. I don't know if the high school spec has the same as the Surgeon 10, but I remember counting 13 on the high school spec, so it's one more, but that you might be like, oh, it's only one more sidewall hole, what's the big deal? Well, the top 3 are so large that it causes all the other ones to be evenly spaced and well placed at the same time on the sidewall, which makes stringing any sort of pocket a breeze, which is very, very nice in my opinion. Also, the face shape, perfect. I am an X6 type guy. I play by NCAA rules in the MIAA, which is a conference that I play in for my school. We're allowed to use X6 heads. It's great. I love them. I really had I have 3 Revu Pro X6s that I was so pumped about because I wasn't able to get a nice pocket on the Surgeon 10. Like I said earlier, I'm sure I would be able to now, but that's a thing of the past with this because I was able to get a nice one on this. But anyway, I had Revu Pro X6s, but they were really tight. But now that this is out, I'm able to use this instead, so I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, I really like the face shape. You can string a very nice pocket into it. You can place it pretty much wherever. Mine's a mid to mid-high. You could do a mid-low, do really whatever, because it's not like it really cuts off at any point. I mean, it starts to get shorter up here, but so do all heads. But like with a Blade Pro or something, actually, mine's already packed for the trip. With a Blade Pro, it starts off really small and then it comes out, so putting a high pocket or something is going to not allow for you to have as deep of a pocket, and as a result, you're not going to have that hold that you need in some cases. So, let's see, where should I go now? Bottom string holes. Bottom string holes are massive. You can fit everything. I'm sure leathers. I remember watching Philip Pierce's review. He said that leathers were a breeze. Actually, I wanted to put my video out before his, but I didn't want you guys to take a look at my gamer and try to dissect it and stuff because my gamer is utilizing my new theory for getting nice pockets, and it's been working very well. So I didn't want anyone else being able to grab that from me and I guess steal it or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so the bottom string. So yeah, I wanted to get the video. I could have gotten the video out. I could have been the first person on YouTube to have the video, which would have been awesome. I was really excited to do that, but it just didn't happen. Back to the bottom string holes. So the bottom string holes are very large. You're able to do everything you need. Definitely not a problem at all. So the face shape, already covered that. Very, very nice. Like everything about the scoop except for the worry about catching. Has the 500 at the back. I don't know if you guys can see that. Has that surgeon like little. I actually was upset. Just a little side note. They didn't put the surgeon symbol back there, which I thought was the sickest thing. I would have been so excited to have that. It's not a big deal though. I'll live. Speaking of the throat, I believe, is, or it's made to be able to, here actually, I remember there's something on here, I'll just read that and then get in depth. Contoured throat with new added texture for enhanced control when cradling. So, when I picked up the Surgeon 10, when I saw the throat, I was amazed. I thought it was the coolest looking, I thought it was a really, really sick looking throat here. Let me turn this. I thought it was the sickest throat. Here, let's see if you guys can see the surgeon thing. Yeah. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's like a little... Yeah, you guys should be able to see that. It says surgeon. It's pretty cool. Actually, it says... Oh, wow, you guys can actually read all the letters that I put up. That's cool. Good to know. But yeah, so the throat, it has this nice shape that you'd be able to cradle really well with if you were like a shorty and you need to one-handed stuff. It just kind of feels natural. It has this little, if you take a look, it has this little like jut out. It reminds me of the CEO. I believe they have that. And it just kind of, you can just kind of place your hand there. I don't know if like they consider that thumbing the ball, putting it off to the side, but with your bare hands, it feels very, very nice. I'm sure with a glove, it would be similar. I'm gonna turn this this light away. It's bothering me. But yeah, I like the throat. I think that I think that the ACP in the front. I'm really sorry if you can't see this. I think the ACP in the front looks very, very nice. Yeah. Anyway, just the overall where it's cut and stuff is very like on the sides. That little cut. I think those are pretty cool. Speaking of which, they also cut out a part at the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see that. But they cut out a little part at the bottom to reduce weight. It's not a big deal. I mean, the ball stop goes on top. Just don't take the ball stop out, I guess, unless you're dyeing the head, and then you'd just be able to put it back on. But yeah, the overall head just really impresses me. I would say, personally, since I'm a person who would buy heads regardless of price, sadly, that I consider the Surgeon 10500 to be worth... I would pay $110, but it would be nice for it to be somewhere more around the $100 range. Maybe like $100 to $95 would be a little bit more ideal. That's why I took advantage of the 25% off deal. But $110 is manageable for me. With how long I expect this head to last, it's definitely worth it. And with the performance I expect from it, definitely worth the price, in my personal opinion. Let's see if there's anything left on the back tag. SCX forward can't, so it has that, I think what that refers to, I'm not completely sure, I'm really sorry guys. It has to do with it sort of being, I think it has to do with the offset of the head. It ends up being higher, maybe, something of that nature. Maybe I'm just being silly and it actually ends up being higher than the beginning on the offset. I'm not completely sure. I'd imagine it has something to do with that. Also, I'm not completely sure if this is C channel or not, but it looks kind of to have that C cut out to a degree, but not a complete C. It's more like, here, I don't really know how to explain it. Take a look like that. It's not a C channel, my bad. The ACP technology does stuff to increase the durability, the strength and durability. Oh, speaking of which, on the STX Stallion, when stringing on the sidewalls, it kind of pulled the mesh weird because of the way that the rail was sitting. But with the Surgeon 10500, I don't recall having any issues. Yeah, the mesh wasn't being pulled to the outside or anything or creating issues, but at the same time, this is an X6 spec head, so that might be the reason for that happening. Also, I used a bunch of knots on the way down, so everything was pulled in a certain way that it didn't really shift. But I had an issue with like the string on the Stallion side tie, just kind of like Stallion U, my bad. Sorry if I've been saying that the whole time. But it would actually fall off to the side, and it created issues for me when stringing, and it really bothered me because I felt like the channel wasn't ending up as nice. But with the Surgeon 10500, it was very easy to get a nice channel using my methods, and I definitely do suggest that you guys try picking one up, or at least check out a friend's. So yeah, I think I've covered. Oh, also this is X6. In case anyone doesn't know what the 10 insertion 10 stands for, it refers to the year in which I think it was the year in which the NCAA X6 rules were implied, and the face shape and all the changes and stuff, and shooter setup rules and all that. That was when they started. So the 10 refers to that year of change. I think I recall it being something of that nature. But yeah, it's an X6 head, very, very quality. The 500 refers to SDX putting this new thing where they give numbers to gear to refer to the level of player that should be using such gear. Something of that nature, I believe. I remember reading about that. But yeah, so that means it's the advanced level. I think it's advanced college, advanced player, college player, or post-collegiate players, something of that nature. But it's a very, very high-quality head, and I definitely suggest that you try one out. That's pretty much it, guys. I don't think there's anything else to cover about this head. If you have any questions, ask below. Like I said, it's the light